Hello and welcome to Balance for Walking class. What you will want today is a decent pair of shoes and some kind of a balance aid, be it a chair or a bureau or a countertop or the back of a couch, your body weight, and that's all you'll need. We're going to start out by walking forward, and if you're comfortable walking backwards, walking backward. If you've got a safe space behind you where you know you're not going to trip over anything, can walk forward and backward. However, if you don't or you're not comfortable walking backward, I want you to turn around and walk forward again. Then turn around and walk forward again. So we're just walking forward and backward. Here's what I'd like you to think about. I'd like you to keep your chest up, your shoulders down, and your belly tight. As you walk, I'd like you to look out about 10 feet in front of you. You don't need a big space in which to do this. You could be walking just along your balance aid. If you aren't comfortable walking backwards, but you'd like to give it a try, get your balance aid in a position where you can take a couple steps forward and a couple steps backward, keeping your chest up, your shoulders down, and your belly tight. You want your core engaged, and you can just walk forward and backward a little bit. Whatever is comfortable with you. We're warming ourselves up, but again, you can also just walk forward and turn around and walk forward. If you do walk forward and turn around and walk forward again, I'd like you to vary up your turning around. Sometimes turn to your left. Sometimes turn to your right. It's got to be what's comfortable for you. I don't want you to do anything that isn't comfortable for you. Again, forward and backward or forward and forward to warm up. Looking 10 feet out in front of you with your chest up, your shoulders down, and your belly tight. I'd like to talk a little bit more about that belly tight part of it. If you were to take your tongue and put it behind your teeth and make the TH sound, like you were saying think or think, that gets your transverse abdominals engaged. And when you make that TH sound, it engages those transverse abdominals, which helps to keep your core erect and your chest up, and then you can think about pulling your shoulders down. All right, we've gone forward and backward a number of times now for a few minutes. What I'd like you to do now is to step sideways. So you can step to the right or to the left or both. I'd like you to really try to step both. Again, you don't have to step far. You can just do a couple steps in each direction. If you aren't comfortable walking sideways without a balance aid, then you should use your balance aid. Walk sideways. Again, chest up, down, belly tight. TH sound. Think, thank, thunk. Keeping that core engaged so that every step you take, you're thinking about what you're using and you're utilizing your core. You're utilizing the muscles of your midsection that help keep you standing up tall. If you are someone who might have a tendency to tuck your hips underneath you, I want you to stick your tush back. Keep your chest up, your shoulders down, and your belly tight. You'll hear me say that over and over again throughout this class. Why do I say it over and over again? Because it is important to think about how you're walking when you're practicing balance so that you can engage those muscles that we want to use and then use them when you're not thinking about walking. I'm just going to move my balance aid over a little bit so you can see I'm keeping my hips straight ahead as I walk sideways. If you start to fatigue in your hips or in any other part of your body, I'd like you to take a break. You can either march in place, or you can walk forward and backward, or forward and forward. If you're not used to walking sideways, this could be very challenging for you. If you're used to it, it might not be a big deal. We're going to add another level of thinking now. I'd like you to think about your feet. And as you plant your feet on the ground, I'd like you to think of your feet as having four corners on the bottom of them. One corner on either side of the ball of your foot and one corner on either side of the heel of your foot. And as you take those sideways steps, I want you to think about trying to evenly distribute your weight on those four corners. Another thing I want you to think about is having a slight bend in your knees. You don't want to lock your knees while you're exercising. It puts too much stress on your joints, and you actually stop utilizing your muscles. So a little bend in those knees. I'm going to turn sideways again so you can see I have a little bend in my knees the whole time. I am never locking my knees back. Little bend. I step to the side with, of course, my chest up, my shoulders down, and my TH sound engaging my core. Good. All right, if you're getting fatigued in here, remember to take a break. If you're not, you don't need to. We're going to change it up again now, and we're going to do something called the grapevine. What that is you're going to step in front, and then step behind. And then you're going to step in front, and then step behind. Remember, if you need that balance aid, use it. Step in front and behind, holding onto your chair, or your bureau, or the back of your couch, or your countertop. Then I'd also like you to practice stepping behind first, and then in front. Stepping behind first, and then in front. So sometimes you step in front first, and then behind. Sometimes you step behind first, and then in front. Something different with your grapevine compared to your sideways step is I want you to allow those hips to move. You'll be a little bit more on the front two corners of your foot. So you'll be on the ball of your foot a little bit more than on your heel as you do that step. Then you're going to place the whole foot down, step the other foot down, place it down, and then step up to the ball of the foot again. Front and behind, or behind and in front. And you could even do front, front. And then try it the other way, front, front. But don't forget to practice behind, behind. Now, if you can't do one of these because it hurts something, then don't listen to what I say. And if going in front and behind doesn't work for you, you can only step in front, or you can only step behind, then you need to do that because you need to listen to your body. Notice as I do this one too, my knees stay soft the whole time. I let my hips rotate. This might feel good on those hips. If you're someone whose hips were bothering you a little bit with the sideways step, this may stretch out those hips a little bit. Again, remember to do both in front and behind if you can, but remember to ignore me if you can't. And at any point during this class, if we're doing it for too long or we're doing it too much, you can just turn it into a march, or if you do have a chair, you can sit down in your chair at any point. The most important thing for you to listen to is your body. It doesn't matter what I say, or in any class, it doesn't matter what any instructor says. If it doesn't feel good to you, you shouldn't do it. I have a philosophy that I teach in my classes, which is no pain, no pain. I'm a product of the 80s when it was no pain, no gain, but that's not the way we do it now. No pain, no pain. So if this hurts, I don't want you to do it. I want you to do something that is more comfortable for you. All right, let's march in place. So we've gone forward, and if you can, we've gone backwards, we've gone sideways, we've tried the grapevine. Now we're going to march in place, and we're going to do another one called the leg extension. I'm going to bring my balance aid over so that you can see how you can use it. The option next is going to be to lift the leg up, straighten it out, put it down. Then lift the other leg up, straighten it out, and put it down. If you can do that and walk forward without a balance aid, do. But if you need a balance aid, by all means, use it. You're lifting, you're straightening, you're putting down. When you get to the end of your space, you're going to do the same thing backwards. Lift, straighten, put down. You can hold on to your balance aid. If you don't need to, then you don't need to. I'd like you to think about those four corners on the bottom of your foot. You could also just stand next to your balance aid. Lift, straighten, put down. Belly button is tight. Chest is up, shoulders are down. Lift, straighten, put down. You do not have to walk while you do this. You could hold on to your chair or your bureau for balance if you'd like. You could also just balance and not walk and do this. Your body, your workout, you need to listen to your body. You noticed I slipped to the side a little bit? I use my balance aid. Use it when you need it. Don't when you don't. One goal when you're doing this particular exercise is to try to stay erect the whole time. Again, some of you are tuckers, so you'll lift that leg up and you'll feel like you're falling backwards, or you might not feel like you're falling backwards, but your body still may be leaning backwards. So you want to think about lining up your ear and your shoulder and your hip the whole time as you do this exercise. Others of you, if you've got tight hamstrings, you might lift that leg up, and then when you try to bring that leg forward, you're going to bend over. So don't worry about getting that leg too straight. Maybe you're just doing it down low like this. You don't have to lift that leg up really high. We're working our quadriceps. We're working on balance of the leg we're standing on. We're also working on stretching our hamstrings and our low back. So you want to stand as tall as you can. The whole time you are lifting and doing that leg extension. Chest up, shoulders down, belly tight. Remember, you can do it with a walk, but you don't have to. If you want to get crazy, you could do it with a walk forward, and then you could also do it with a walk backward. Remember, none of this is anything that you must do. These are all suggestions of things that you could try to work on improving your balance in this Balance for Walking class. Why is this helpful? This exercise is helpful because it forces you to balance on one leg, but we're not doing it for a long period of time. That being said, I'd like you to try to do it as slowly as you can. It's easier to do it quickly because you can use momentum. You'll find yourself rounding your back and doing things that you don't want to do, so I'd like you to do it slowly. When you do it slowly, you can think of those four corners on the bottom of your foot. You can think about having your belly button pushed to your spine with your TH sound. You can think about having your chest up and your shoulders down and aligning your hip with your shoulder and your ear. Remember, you don't have to go high with this lift. And remember, too, when you fatigue, you may have fatigued and sat down already. Good for you for listening to your body. All right, let's all march in place. Let me look at my list. Okay. Those were all different types of balance activities. The next activity that we're going to do is going to be more of a strength activity. It's still a balance exercise, but it will also help you to increase your strength. I want you to remember once again, the most important thing as you do this class is to listen to your body. Our next activity will be a lunge. Some of you may say, I can't lunge, it hurts my knees. If you want to give it a try, you can. But if you know it's not going to be good for you, then you can just march around and practice balance as we're doing lunges. If you're comfortable giving it a try, I'm going to have you step 1 foot forward and 1 foot back. I will demonstrate this from the side in a minute. But what I want you to see is that my feet are hip width apart. I'm not trying to line my feet up one in line with the other. They are hip width apart. I've got a nice long stride, and I have pretty long legs, so I'm actually going to make my stride even longer. My back heel is up. Now, again, I'll show you that from the side in a moment. But what I want to show you is you're then just going to bend both knees. Only as far down as you can comfortably go. If you can go all the way to the floor, fine. But if you can't, don't. Hold on to that chair for balance should you need it. This is what it's going to look like from the side. Again, my feet are going to stay hip width apart. 1 foot is forward, 1 foot is back. I want you to be able to see both feet. My back heel is up. My feet are hip width apart. My chest is up, my shoulders are down, my belly is tight. When you bend both knees, again, you only bend as far as you can comfortably go. If you can go to the floor, terrific. If not, still terrific. You could also just stand here and practice balancing in this position. This is a balance activity. If it hurts your knees to lunge, but you can get in this position, then you're still working on balance. As you bend those knees, notice I'm bending both of them. And if you watch this front knee, it does not go in front of my toes. It stays in line with my ankle. And I'd like you to shoot for doing that. And just do as many lunges as you can. When you fatigue, you're done. Torso tall. Remember, a range of motion that works for you. I'd like you to have more weight on your front leg than on your back leg. And just work within a range of motion that works for your body. Again, it can just be standing like this. All right, we're going to switch legs now. So I'm going to put the other leg in front. Again, hip width apart. Chest up, shoulders down, belly tight. Remember, I told you I was going to say it all the time? I will continue to say it all the time. You're going to bend both knees, only as far as you comfortably can. Use your balance aid if you need it. Maybe you're just standing in this position. Remember, your back heel is up. And when you bend those knees, your front knee does not go in front of your front toes. So you're just bending and straightening. And you only need to do as many as you can do. If you feel different from one side to the other, if you can do one side but the other side hurts, then maybe just try to get into this position on the other side And don't go up and down. Remember, you've got to listen to your body. If it tells you to stop, stop. Good. Belly button to your spine. Ear in line with your shoulder, in line with your hip, in line with your knee. At the bottom. And let's come out of it and march your legs. So remember, only do what feels comfortable for you. If it hurts, don't do it. We'll march our legs. We'll kind of get things back in sync. And the next one on the agenda is the Arabesque. When you think Arabesque, you might think of a skater. Ours isn't going to look quite like that. We are not professional figure skaters. What you're going to do is you're going to stand and face your balance aid, whether it's a chair or a bureau. And then what you're going to do is using your glute muscles, you're going to lift one leg behind you. I want you to lift from your buttock. Yes, you could do this, but that's not what we're doing right now. We are doing a hip extension, which we also call an Arabesque. Push your belly button to your spine. You might get tired in your low back. If you do, take a break and march your legs, and then try again. Your chest is up, your shoulders are down, your belly is tight. You're just lifting that leg behind you. Remember, if at any point you need to sit down, sit down. You could always pause this and come back to it in a few minutes. The leg you're standing on, you are thinking about those four corners on the bottom of your foot. Let's slow it down now. How slow? Bleed. Can you lift that leg up and down? Using your buttock muscles, using your glutes. Lift and lower. Don't worry about what your foot does. I don't care if you point your toe or you flex your foot. Just lift from the glutes. Keep your belly button tight. Your chest elevated and your shoulders down and your hips underneath you. Remember, we're not tucking forward. We're not leaning over. Stand as straight as you can. All right, let's do the other leg. Soft knee of the leg you're standing on. I think I forgot to mention that on the first side. The leg you're standing on has a soft knee. And you're going to lift from the glute of the other leg, straight behind you. Keep your torso tall, your shoulders down, and your belly tight. I'm going to turn so you can see that it's the closer leg. Although I don't know that you can really tell. But you're lifting from the glute with your belly tight, your chest elevated, and your shoulders down. The leg you're standing on has a soft knee, and you're thinking about the four corners on the bottom of that foot. And remember, if your back starts to get tired, you need to take a break. Remember, if it hurts, don't do it. Chest up, whoa. Shoulders down, belly tight, lifting from the glute. One more. All right, let's march those legs. Good job, everybody. Okay, now we are going to do a hamstring curl, where we're going to bend that knee and bring the foot up behind us. But before you do that, I want you to just lift your knees up a few times to stretch out that low back. If you want to hold on to your chair or your bureau or your whatever, do. Lift those knees up, stretching out your low back a little bit. And remember, if at any point you feel like you need to sit down, sit down. You can always pause the recording here, sit down, take a break, and then come back to it. Or you can just sit down and join us when you're ready. All right, the next activity is going to be a knee bend. And I'm going to have you alternate feet this time. And this time I do want you to flex your foot. So pull your toe down towards the floor or towards your balance aid in front of you. Alternating feet, I want you to try to kick your butt slowly. Your feet stay hip width apart. Think about those four corners. One on either side of the ball of each foot. One on either side of the heel of each foot. And you're just trying to kick your butt. Good. You're using your hamstrings. You're stretching your quadriceps. If the first one bothered your back, hopefully this one doesn't bother it as much. You can try to keep your knees lined up as best you can. Your knee may come in front, or you may be able to bring it back. That's fine too. But just having it lined up, we're just working on stretching the front of our thigh, exercising the back of our thigh, and doing some balance work. Pull those toes towards your head, flexing your foot as you lift that foot behind you. All right, march your legs again. Roll your shoulders a little bit. Good, you're doing well. Moving on, let's do toes and heels. So if this doesn't hurt you, I'm going to have you stand facing your balance aid with soft knees, your chest up, your shoulders down, and your belly tight, and come on up on those toes. Up on your toes, up and down. Good. If this hurts something, guess what? You don't do it. Now we'll do a few. Hold on still. Keep your knees unlocked and lift your toes up off the floor. Lift your toes up so you're going back on your heels. Your chest is up, your shoulders are down, your belly is tight. You're not tucking your hips underneath you. You're lined up. If your tendency is to do this and lock your knees, that's really a balance faux pas, I'll call it, because you are hurting yourself by having more weight going backwards. So I want you to really concentrate on keeping that tush back with your knees soft. Lift those toes up. Now let's do a combination toes, heels, toes, heels. Now, if the toes and heels did not feel good to you, then when you do this class again, wink, wink, because I'd like you to do this class regularly to help you improve your balance. The next time you do this class, just do this next exercise. The next exercise we're going to do, I'll stay sideways here, is you're just going to shift your weight toward the two front corners of both feet and then towards the two back corners of both feet. Not really lifting your feet up off the floor. Either way, you're just shifting your weight, so you're really utilizing your core. Have your balance aid in front of you so that if you go too far back or too far forward, you can grab onto it, but you're shifting your weight, and you're shifting your weight, standing tall with your chest up, your shoulders down, and your belly tight. Remember that TH sound. Shifting the weight to the front two corners of both feet, and then to the back two corners of both feet, and then to the front two corners, and the back two corners. So when you do this class next time, if it hurt you to come up on those toes and back on those heels, you can just start by doing this exercise. It's just a balance weight shift, using your core to stop you in one direction and then stop you in the other direction. Don't let your hips tuck underneath you. Don't let your shoulders round. All right, let's march those legs. Good work. Okay, next on our agenda. We lifted the leg and put it out in front of us and then put it down, and we lifted the leg behind us, but what we haven't done is lifted our leg out to the side. We did our sideways stepping and our grapevine, but now what we're going to do is we're going to do a balance exercise while we stand on one leg and lift the other leg out to the side. The leg that you're standing on, I want you to have a soft knee. I've said that before. What is that? It means you're not locked. You're unlocked. It doesn't have to be a big bend. You can't even tell in my shoulders whether I'm locked or unlocked. But if you look at my knees, you can see those legs are really straight, and you can see they're a tiny bit less straight, but it doesn't change my height. So soft knees. Chest up, shoulders down, belly tight, standing on one foot. The knee is soft, but the thigh is tight and the glute is tight. And then I want you to take the other leg and lift it out to the side and bring it back down. Remember, soft knee, but tight thigh and tight glute. Torso tall, shoulders down, belly tight, using your TH sound. Once again, slowly. Yes, you can do this quickly. Remember, use your balance aid if you need it. You can have it beside you or you can have it in front of you. You can do your hip abduction, that's what this is called. You can do that facing your balance aid, or you can do it facing your screen. Doesn't matter to me. I just want your chest up, your shoulders down, your belly tight, your glute tight, your thigh tight, and your knee soft. Thinking about those four corners on the bottom of your foot. Evenly distribute your weight on them as best you can, and then keeping this leg moving. Up and down. It's slow. When you fatigue, please be done. Otherwise, we'll do a couple more. These exercises are exercises you can practice every day, anytime. If you're standing somewhere and you're waiting for the water to boil, you could do these exercises. March your legs. When you're brushing your teeth, you could do these exercises. All right. I'm going to move my balance aid over so that you can see my whole self. Otherwise, I'm kind of tucked behind the chair when I use my bureau. Standing tall again with your chest up, your shoulders down, your belly tight, your glute tight, your thigh tight, your knee soft. You're going to lift the other leg up. I like it when you have the balance aid either on the side of the leg that you're standing on or when you're facing it, so that if you lose your balance, it's right there for you. When you're standing with it to your side, if you lose your balance to that side, you've got the chair. If you lose your balance this way, you just put your foot down. Think about those four corners. Keep your knees soft, but your thigh tight and your glute tight, your chest up, your shoulders down, your belly button to your spine. Another trick when you're doing the hip abduction, which is what this exercise is called, is you want to try to keep your toes pointing straight ahead. The toes of the leg you're lifting. The tendency sometimes is to point your toes towards the ceiling, but then you're using your front thigh muscles instead of your side thigh muscles. So you want to use the abductors, not the quads. Chest is up, shoulders are down, belly is tight, glute is tight, thigh is tight, four corners balanced, but that knee is soft. You'll feel it in both sides. You'll probably feel it more on the side you're standing on, because that's us balancing. All right, gang, march those legs again. Good work. Good work, good work, good work. All right. I'm going to move my chair back again. The next exercise we're going to do, we kind of did it a little bit earlier, but what we're going to do now is we're going to do a side step squat. So you're standing, you're going to step to the side with your feet hip width or a little wider apart. You're going to squat. You're going to bring that leg over. Then you're going to stick that one out. Give me a little squat. Come back up. Bring that leg over. So the leg you step out with, you squat, then you bring the other leg in, then you step out, squat, bring the other leg in, step out. When you squat, send your tush behind you. I'm going to stand sideways so you can see that as I squat, the first thing I do is send my butt back. And I keep my torso tall the whole time. Then I send my butt back. Good. It's easier on your knees if you stick your tush back. It's better for your back if you stick your tush back, because when you stick your tush back, you're initiating that exercise with your legs. If the first thing you do is lean forward, now I've got stress on my low back. So you want to have that tush go back first. And the forward lean only happens because your body's going up and down. So you want to keep that tush back, your torso tall. Make the movement come from your legs, not your torso. So if you were facing me and I could see you, I want to see whatever's on the front of your shirt, or I want to see your eyes. I do not want to see the top of your head. Okay, I want to see your face, your smile, your eyes. If you've got a logo on your shirt, I want to be able to read it. Your torso's tall. You can put your hands on your thighs, wherever you'd like. All right, let's march those legs. Good. Doing great, everybody. Hope you're feeling okay. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually get our chair, and we're going to utilize that chair for some exercises now, too. So what we're going to do is we just did our sideways squat, and we squatted down a little bit, but what I'd like you to do now is stand in front of your chair and back yourself up all the way to the chair, so that, I'll demonstrate from the side, so that the back of your legs are touching the chair. Then what you're going to do is sit down. Notice I stuck my tush back, and then come up. Let's do it again. Now you are going to be on the front of the chair. I just wanted to show you how you back your legs up to the chair. So your feet are about hip width apart, and you're going to go down and up. Now, if you've got a mirror somewhere near you and you can see your knees, the goal is to keep those knees pointing straight ahead as you go up and down. However, you may not have a mirror, so you're allowed to look down at those knees and try to make sure they're pointing straight ahead as you go up and down. Remember, we've talked about those four corners on the bottom of your feet a bunch. If you have your weight evenly distributed on those four corners, your knees will stay straight ahead. However, if you put more pressure on the inside two corners, those knees are going to come together. Not good for your knees. Same, if you go to the outside two corners, your knees will go apart. Not good for your knees. It puts too much stress on the inner side or the outer side of your knees. So that's why you want to try to keep those knees pointed straight ahead. Your torso's tall, your shoulders are down, your belly is tight. Remember, you're leading with your tush, and you'll notice you can see my eyes or the logo on my shirt the whole time. Only do as many squats as you comfortably can. You'll notice I blab through these exercises so that you're not thinking about how tired you're getting. But if you're tired, stay seated. And remember, if something hurts, please stop doing this activity. Chest up, shoulders down, belly tight. We are squatting up and down to the chair. And we'll have done it for about a minute. All right. Stand up in front of your chair, or if you're tired, you can sit down. What we're going to do next is something called super brain yoga. We're only going to do it for a minute. You just squatted to the chair for a minute. Now we're going to super brain yoga for a minute, which is very similar. If you'd like, you can take your left hand, cross it across your body, take your thumb, put it on the front of your earlobe, and your forefinger on the back. Then you'll take your right arm over that. Same thing. Thumb on the front of your earlobe, forefinger on the back. Then I want you to drop your shoulders down. Bring your chest up, drop those shoulders down, tighten your belly. And we are going to squat up and down from our chair. Here we go. Good. You do not have to sit. You can just go low and not actually sit down. You could touch your tush to the chair and come back up. You don't even have to do that. What I do want you to do is think about those four corners on the bottom of your foot. Think about those four corners on the bottom of your other foot. I want you to keep your chest up. I want you to keep your shoulders down. I want you to send that tush behind you. And we're going up and down. Remember, you can sit down if you want to. You also don't have to. Keep your chin tucked in. Keep your neck relaxed. Breathe. Up and down. Only as many times as you can. I had to look at my watch. We aren't at quite a minute yet. But we're getting there. About 10 more seconds. But remember, if this is hurting something or you're getting too tired to continue, by all means, stop. All right, have a seat. Good job, everybody. So, next on the agenda, we're going to do another exercise for our quads. So, what I'd like you to do, we did this standing. Remember when we stood up and we lifted, straightened, and put down? I lost my balance. I should have had my balance aid nearby. Well, we're going to do that while seated now. Elevate your shoulders, or not your shoulders. Elevate your rib cage. Drop your shoulders down. Use your TH sound. Straighten one leg out in front of you. Put it down. Then straighten the other leg out in front of you and put it down. Out in front of you and put it down. Good. So you are using the muscles on the front of your thigh. You are stretching the muscles on the back of your thigh. You also might be stretching your low back. I'd like you to try to sit as straight as you can the whole time. If you're tight here, you might also be tight here and tight here. And if you are, your body's going to want to round as you bring that leg up. I would like to encourage you to not lift your leg as high, but to sit as straight as you can and maybe just lift your leg a little lower. And now I'd like you to bring one leg up and hold it. Pull your toe towards your head. So if I could see you, I'd see the bottom of your foot if you're facing me. Your foot may be down here. You might be able to lift that leg even higher. Everybody's flexibility is different, and there's no shame in being tight or loose. Let's switch sides. Lift the other leg up. Torso as tall as you can. Sit as straight as you can so you're stretching your hamstring. You're stretching your low back. You're stretching your glute. You're also doing an isometric contraction to strengthen your quadriceps. Let's go back to the first leg again. Bring it on up. Torso tall, shoulders down, belly tight. Good. Strength, stretch, stretch, stretch. Let's do the other side. Again, strengthen. Pull your toe towards your head to get more of a stretch, stretch, and stretch. And if you find yourself rounding, that's okay. Just sit back up. Good. Feel that stretch in the back of the thigh. Feel the front of your thigh working. You might feel it start to shake. If it hurts anything, go ahead and stop doing it. Now we're all going to stop doing it. All right. I believe you can see my toes, but I'm going to back up just a little bit so I'm sure you can see them. I want you to lift those toes up and down again. We did this standing, remember? And you had that slight bend in your knees. Well, now you've got a 90-degree bend in the knees, and you're lifting those toes up. This is an exercise you can do anytime you're sitting and you think about the fact that you're sitting and you'd like to do an exercise. A tripping hazard is the fact that we don't always lift our toes up off the ground as well or as easily as we should. If you've had sciatica, you may have some nerve pain or some nerve damage. Your toes don't come off the ground as easily. If you've got back issues, which could include sciatica, those toes may not come off the ground as easily. So if you can strengthen the muscles on the front of your shins and you can practice lifting those toes up, then when you take your steps, you are less likely to trip because you'll be lifting those toes up. All right, now let's lift those heels up. Hopefully you felt a little something happening in the front of your shins. And now we're lifting our heels up. This is really easy, hopefully, because you're not supporting your whole body weight. But if you've got ankle issues, this may not be so easy for you. So remember, no matter what I say or what I'm doing, if it doesn't feel good to you, do not do it. However, I do want you to sit with your chest up, your shoulders down, and your belly tight. Now I want you to alternate. Lift up your toes, lift up your heels. So these are exercises you can do anytime that you're seated. You can even do it when you're sitting on the potty. Raise and lower those toes and heels. Stretch out those ankles. Strengthen the front of your foot, your shins. Strengthen the back of your shins. Good job. All right, now we're going to get crazy. We're going to straighten out one leg. You're going to pull the toes towards your head, and then you're going to point them and flex them. So you're pushing away, pulling towards, pushing away, pulling towards. Good. So now you're strengthening your quadriceps isometrically, but you're also contracting your shin muscles and your calf muscles dynamically because you're moving that ankle around. And that's what those shin, both sides, muscles do. They point from the back and they flex from the front. All right, let's switch. Sit up tall again if you're back rounded. Drop your shoulder blades down again. Push your belly button to your spine. Straighten your other leg. And point and flex. Remember to keep your chest up, your shoulders down, and your belly tight. You might find that you're tighter on one side than the other. That's okay. We are not exactly the same on both sides, and there's nothing wrong with that. Point and flex. Good. And put that leg back down. All right. We squatted to the chair for a minute. We did super brain yoga for a minute. We're going to do super brain yoga again for a minute, if you can. If you can't, then what I'd like you to do is sit here and tighten your belly and release, and tighten and release, and take a little break if you need it. Otherwise, feet hip width apart. You can put your hands on your earlobes if you want. Thumbs go in the front, forefingers go in the back. Drop those shoulders down, but you don't have to. So you do what's best for your body. I'd like you to, if you can, stand it up and sit down as many times as you comfortably can. Ready? Get set. Go. So we're going up and down. Remember, you can sit or you don't have to. You can touch the chair or you don't have to. But you do have to send that tush back as far as you can, because I don't want it to hurt those knees. I want those knees pointing straight ahead. And then send that tush back as far as you can. As you fatigue, your knees may come together because you're rolling in, because that's what your body is used to doing. Or your knees may go out because you're rolling to the outsides of your feet, because that's what your body's used to doing. If that happens, then stop and take a break. If it starts to hurt your knees in any way, stop and take a break. If your back gets too tired, stop and take a break. You could always join us again. You could always hit pause, take a break, and then come back to us. 10 more seconds and we're at a minute. And see, when I blab, it goes faster. I hope anyways. Tush is going back, torso is tall. Good job, and we are done. March your legs. All right, let's have a seat for a moment. If you want, take one ankle, put it on the other thigh. We're going to do a little stretch here. Not for long, though, but a little stretch. You're stretching the back of your hip, maybe the outside of your thigh, maybe your knee. Torso tall, shoulders down, belly tight. If you can't do this while seated, don't. If you can, do. If you can do this and you find yourself standing and your back getting tired at some point, if you can find a place to sit and do this exercise, it might relieve that tiredness in your low back. All right, let's switch sides. Bring that leg down, bring the other leg up. Torso tall, shoulders down, belly tight. It doesn't matter how flat you can get this leg. Your leg may be way up high and your leg may be way down low, even with the chair. This is where my leg is. That's okay. It doesn't matter as long as you feel a good stretch when you do it. If it hurts to do this, remember, don't do it. If you can't get that leg up, don't worry about it. Chest up, shoulders down, belly tight. Again, we're trying to stretch the back of the hip. It might feel like it's your low back, and it might be your low back. Maybe the outside of the thigh, maybe the inside of the thigh, maybe the knee. All right. And we're going to stand back up. Come join me standing, and I'd like you to set your chair up so that you are sideways to your chair, and we're going to do 2 balance exercises, and then we're going to stretch. The first balance exercise is going to be, I'm going to stand sideways to start so you can see it, where you put the heel of your front foot touching the toes of your back foot with your chest up, your shoulders down, and your belly tight. I'm going to turn this way because this is how I'd like you to do it. Although it doesn't matter. You can do it standing facing your chair. The problem with doing it standing facing your chair is you're going to end up leaning over. And I don't want you to lean over. I want you to stand up tall. So if you can, stand sideways to your chair and do it with me. Again, the heel of the front foot touches the toes of the back foot. Your chest is up, your shoulders are down, your belly is tight. And then what we're going to do is we're going to try to hold this position for a minute. Ready, get set, go. So I've set my timer for a minute. You've got a tiny bend in your knees. Remember those 4 corners? I want you to try to evenly distribute your weight on all 8 corners now. I find I tend to shift toward my back leg, so I need to put more weight on my front leg. Remember, soft knees. Try to evenly distribute your weight on the bottoms of both feet. Advanced people, you can try closing your eyes and doing this exercise. If you do, I recommend that you please have something nearby to give you some awareness of your body in space. But I'd also like you to try to be aware of the floor. Be aware of what the bottoms of your feet feel. Be aware of what your ankles are doing. Are they helping you balance? Again, try to be aware of whether you've got more weight on the front foot or your back foot, and try to evenly distribute your weight on those 2 feet. Be aware of whether or not you're still standing straight. Is your chest up? Are your shoulders down? Is your core engaged? Are you doing that TH sound? Breathe. And we are done. If you've closed your eyes, please open them. If you have closed your eyes or haven't closed your eyes, please march your legs. Remember which foot was in front? We're going to put the other foot in front now. So the heel of the front foot touches the toes of the back foot. Your torso is tall, your shoulders down, your belly is tight, but your knees are soft. Ready, get set. We're going to do the same thing. So again, think about those 4 corners. Are you evenly distributing your weight on both feet? If not, try to. Are your knees soft? Is your chest elevated? Are your shoulders down? Are you leaning forward or back? Try to stand straight. Feel the floor through your feet. Try to spread out your toes and feel the floor through the bottoms of your feet. Feel your ankles working. You might feel it in your knees or your hips trying to help you balance. If you want, you can try closing your eyes. You can hold on if you need to, although I'd like you to try to not white knuckle it and just hold on a little bit, however much you need to. Feel where you are in space. That's the object of this exercise. If it bothers you to close your eyes, though, please don't do it. But if it doesn't, you can give it a try. They always tell us to look at a point to help us balance, but when you close your eyes, you take that away entirely. You just got to feel the world around you. All right, march those legs again. Okay, our next exercise will be balancing on one leg. So if it is going to cause you pain to do this, or if you find yourself in pain while doing it, please stop. Otherwise, you're going to stand on one leg again, preferably the closest leg to the chair, or to the bureau or the desk or whatever you've got in front of you. Bend that knee slightly. Think of those 4 corners on the bottoms of your feet. Tighten your thigh and your glute. You're going to pick up this leg and stand on this leg. Ready, get set, go. We're going to do that for a minute. You can put this leg wherever you want. If this is challenging for you, please hold on. I'd like you to try to not have one leg grab the other if you can help it, because we are trying to focus on balancing on this leg. But if you can't do that, then you can grab if you need to, but I'd like you to try to not grab. If this is challenging for you, just stay here. Remember, you've got your balance aid. If it's easy for you, you can move that other leg around. Or you could let go of your balance aid. Or you could move both arms around. Or move this arm around and hold on to your balance aid. You could try looking around. Remember we talked about finding that point and staring at it? Well, if this is easy for you, then you could try looking around. And then, of course, the ultimate challenge would be to try closing your eyes. Remember, if you lose your balance, you can grab your chair or you can put your foot down. We're not trying to show off here. We're trying to practice improving our balance. And we are done. March your legs. All right, you can turn and face the other direction, or you can move your balance aid. Remember, I'd like you to stand on the leg that's closest to the balance aid, so if you fall that way, you've got it. If you fall this way, you can step on the foot that was up in the air. Chest up, shoulders down, core engaged. Tight thigh, tight glute, but soft knee. Four corners in your mind. Ready, get set, lift up that outside leg. Hold on to your balance aid if you need it. Try to not grab your legs together. Try to keep that leg away if you can. This knee is soft. Feel those four corners. Keep this thigh tight. Keep this buttock tight. Keep your chest elevated, your shoulders down, and your belly button to your spine. And then you could always add movement if you need to add balance challenge. You could try looking around. Or again, you could try closing your eyes. You do what's best for you and your body. Think about the four corners. Keep your knee soft, your thigh tight, your glute tight, your belly tight, your chest elevated, your shoulders down, your ear in line with your shoulders, in line with your hip, in line with your knee, in line with your ankle. And you challenge your balance, but if you lose your balance, grab your balance aid or put your foot down. And we are done. March your legs. Good work, everybody. All right. The next thing we're going to do is stretch. We're going to get down on the floor and stretch, or I'm going to get down on the floor and stretch. If that's not for you, you can be done with this video, and then you can go and search for Karen Brownlee seated stretches, and you can stretch with me in the chair. Otherwise, you can join me down on the floor. I'm going to grab a mat. You can grab a mat, or you can just do it on the carpet, or on a floor, or on a rug. But I'll grab a mat, because otherwise my pants get all the carpet fuzz on them. Okay, I'm going to move my chair a little bit more. All right, down we go to the floor. If you can't get down on the floor, remember, stop this video, find Karen Brownlee seated stretches, and do that video. Otherwise, to get down on the floor, you can hold on to your balance aid, or you can put your hand on your knee, put one foot down, the other foot down. We're going to start out on our back. So, you're going to lie on your back with your legs out straight. I know you can't see my legs the whole time. I'm sorry you can't see my feet. Your head down and your arms up over your head as far as they will go. Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, tuck your chin in and relax your shoulders. Point your fingers as far away from you as you can and point your toes. Now bring your arms down by your sides. Pull your toes and your fingers towards your head and push your shoulders down. I'll scooch back a little bit so maybe you can see my toes. Nope, you can't. Anyways, I've got my toes pulled towards my head. I guess you can, but there we go. I can kind of get my head on the ground. All right, push your shoulders down with your fingers and toes pulled up. And now let it all go down flat. Bring your knees up. Put your feet flat. Take your right ankle, put it on your left thigh. You can push your right knee away, or if it feels good to you, you can pull your left leg up. Make sure you tuck your chin in and you drop your shoulders down. You're going to hear that a bunch because as you're doing these stretches, if you're tight, your chin's going to creep up, 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 and your shoulders are going to creep up, up, up. So push them down and tuck your chin in. Nice deep breaths. We're going to do 4 stretches for this leg and then 4 stretches for the other leg, and then we will alternate. All right. If you lifted your left leg up, please set it back down on the ground. Straighten your right leg up in the air. Your hands are going to go behind your right thigh. You're going to straighten your left leg out on the ground. Tuck your chin in, drop your shoulders down, take a deep breath, and as you exhale, try to get both legs as straight as you can and flex both feet as much as you can. You'll notice my leg doesn't get completely straight, but it's as straight as I can get it. I have very tight hamstrings. Somebody who's super flexible could bring their knee to their nose. That would not be me. Someone who's not flexible might not be able to get that leg straight at all. That's okay. Flex your feet. Get your legs as straight as you can. Now, I'd like you to pull that leg a little closer. Your knee might bend a little bit. That's okay, and I want you to move that right ankle around. Tuck your chin in again. Push your shoulders down again. Point, you can flex, you can do circles. Now I'd like you to bring your arms out to your sides like you're a letter T. I need to scooch a little bit, but you can stay where you are as long as you have room. Your arms are out like you're a letter T with your palms facing the ceiling. Then you're going to take that right leg and drop it over to your left. You're stretching the outer thigh, the outer hip, the lower back, the middle back, and then up around the front of the rib cage and down that right arm. Just like gravity pushed you down, you do not have to have both arms on the ground. You do not have to have both feet on the ground. Everybody's flexibility is different. Now I'd like you to tighten your belly. Take your left hand, put it by the inside of your right thigh, bring your right leg up and hug your right knee into your chest. I'll scooch back. You can put your hand behind your thigh or on the front of your shin if it doesn't hurt your knee, and gently pull that leg in towards your body. Remember, relax your neck, so you're going to tuck your chin in, drop your shoulders, and only pull with your arms. Now you're going to set this foot down on the ground with your knee up in the air, and you're going to take your left ankle and put it on your right thigh. So remember, I told you we're going to do those 4 stretches. We did the right side, now we're going to do the left. You can push the left knee away, or if it feels good to you, you can pull your right leg up. Tuck your chin in, relax your shoulders, try to relax your head down on the mat, and breathe. Feel the stretch on the outer thigh. You might remember we did this stretch seated. Now we're doing it lying down. Some people it doesn't feel good to do seated. For others it does. But hopefully it feels good for you to do this lying down. All right, if you lifted your right leg up, please set it back down on the ground. Straighten your left leg up in the air. Straighten your right leg down on the mat. Hands go behind your right thigh. Take a deep breath as you exhale. Try to get both legs as straight as you can. Flex both feet as much as you can by pulling your toes towards your head. Tuck your chin in and relax your shoulders. Nice deep breaths. Don't hold your breath. If this is a tight muscle for you, your tendency might be to hold your breath. Please try to not hold your breath. Just breathe. Now pull that leg a little closer. Your knee might bend. That's okay. And move your ankle around. Point, flex, circles. Drop your shoulders down. Tuck your chin in if it crept up. You'd be amazed how often it happens, which is why I keep mentioning to tuck your chin in and push your shoulders down. Now bring your arms up to your sides like you're a letter T with your palms facing the ceiling. Take that left leg, drop it over to the right. Just like gravity pushed you down. Breathe and relax. Feel that stretch from the outer thigh, through the back of the hip, through the low back, up around your rib cage and down your left arm. Now tighten your belly so you don't strain your back. Take your right hand, put it by the inside of your left thigh, push your left leg up, hug your left knee into your chest, tuck your chin in, wah, 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 which meant, and relax your shoulders. It's like the Peanuts. I just keep talking and saying the same thing over and over again so that it will sink in. Now you're going to add the right leg to the left. Hug both knees in. If you'd like, you can roll a little left and a little right. Tuck your chin in. Relax your shoulders. Now you're going to stop in the middle and we'll do a happy baby stretch. Bottoms of your feet face the ceiling. Hands go behind your thighs. Gently pull your knees towards your armpits. You could also roll a left and a little right, or you could reach down towards your shins or your ankles, or all the way to the bottoms of your feet if you can. I know people who can put their knees on the ground. I can think about bringing my knees toward my armpits, but I'm not sure they're ever going to touch. I don't think they're going to get there. But that's okay. I just go as far as I can go, and I'm stretching my low back, my hamstrings, and my glutes. All right, stop in the middle. Tighten your belly. 2 options for this next stretch. Tighten your belly and roll over or roll up. And you can either lie on your side for a quadricep stretch where you bend the top leg. To stretch the front of your thigh, you'll bring that heel towards the buttock. Your head will rest down on your arm, or you can do it like me and lie on your stomach. If you're on your side, let your head rest on your arm. If you're on your stomach, put your fist under your forehead. The arm that's free, you're going to bend that leg and gently bring your heel towards your buttocks. Whether you're on your side or your stomach, you don't have to be able to grab anything, but if you can grab your pant, leg, sock, shoe, foot, or ankle and give that hamstring a little help to stretch your quad, great. But if you can't, still great. And if you cramp up in the back of your thigh, straighten out that leg, take a break, maybe even take a drink, and then you can try it again. If it cramps up a second time, you can give up, but I want you to work on this stretch because it means that your hamstrings are so tight or your quads are so tight that your hams are cramping up. All right, let's switch sides. If you're on your side, please roll over. If you're on the stomach, put your other fist under your forehead. If you are on your side, you're going to lay your head down on your other arm now, and now you're going to bend the top leg. You can reach back, and if you can grab your pant, leg, sock, shoe, foot, or ankle, do. If you can't, don't. Relax your neck and shoulders. Take nice deep breaths. All right. Let go of that leg if you're holding it. If you're on your side, roll onto your stomach. If you're on your stomach, stay there. Come on up onto your elbows and drop your head down, stretching out the back of your neck. All right, you can either stay there or you can take a look at what we're doing here. You can go up into a Cobra Stretch. If you know what a Cobra Stretch is, you can do that. Where you drop your hips down, you've got your arms are straight. Don't lock them. Don't let them hyperextend. Just have them straight because they're supporting your body weight, or about a third of your body weight. Or you could be staying on those elbows and dropping that head down and stretching out your neck. Either one works. All right, now what we're going to do is everybody come on up onto your hands and knees. You're going to push your back up and drop your head down. Then you're going to drop your back down and lift your head up. Then you're going to push your back up and drop your head down. And from this position, you're going to sit back on your feet into a child's pose. Drop your head between your arms. Walk your arms as far away from your body as you can. And just hang there for a bit. Nice deep breaths. Relax your neck. Now I'd like you to shift your hips over one foot. Walk your hands to the opposite edge of the mat and lean away. Again, relax your neck. Just hang there a bit. And walk your hands back to the middle. Shift your hips over the other foot. Walk your hands to the opposite edge of the mat and lean away. Once again, relax that neck. Just hang out, stretching out your side. Those are your lat muscles that you're stretching. Then come on back to the center. Come on up onto your knees. You're going to take one leg and put it in front of you. And then the leg that is back, that arm's going to go up. Bend behind your head. Tuck your chin in. Push your head back into your hand. Try to keep your torso as tall as you can. If you can't get above this position, that's okay, but I want you to try. And then if you'd like, you can also gently come forward. I'd like you to try to not bring this knee in front of this toe. If you feel like you're getting close, just scooch that foot up a bit. We're stretching the front of the hip of the leg that is back. Torso tall, chin tucked in. Torso tall is the most important part of this stretch. All right, let's switch legs. Put the other foot in front. The leg that is back, that arm's going to go up. Bend behind your head. Tuck your chin in. Push your head back into your hand. You can come forward towards that front leg, but again, remember, the most important thing is how straight can you get your torso? How tall and erect can your torso be to stretch the front of the hip of the leg that is back? Good. All right, from here we're going to stand up. And I'd like you to have one foot in front and one foot behind. That back heel is going to be down. That back leg is going to be straight, straight leg. Torso tall, shoulders down, belly tight. Bend your front leg so that you feel a stretch in the top part of the calf of the leg that is back. Roll your shoulders back and down. Now, keeping that heel down, bend that back knee slightly. Stretching a different part of your calf, a little closer to the bone, a little closer to the heel, maybe through the heel and the bottom of the foot. Let's switch legs. Bring that leg up. Put the other leg back. Back leg is straight, back heel is down. Roll your shoulders back and down, front leg bends. stretching the top part of the calf of the leg that is back. Now, keeping that heel down, bend that back leg slightly. You are done. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you will join me again. You can play this video over and over again to practice balance for walking. Take care, stay well, and stay strong.